There has been some changes in profile. We have profile of a line, profile of a surface. That's the same, but there has been some improvements there, and let me show you what they are. These are our two symbols, profile of a line, profile of a surface. And this here is our part, and you remember profile, just a brief review here. This is the datum feature A, this datum feature B. We have basic dimensions. To take an arrow, point to the surface, and its profile within 0.6 between A and B. Here's point A, and here's point B. So we would imagine the tolerance zone would look something like this. And you have a 0.6 tolerance zone equally spaced about the true profile. So what would this read? This here would read then it's 100 millimeters, and it's +3 and it's -3 from the measured from the datum reference frame, of course, and that's a total of 6. And you have a tolerance, a 3D view. This is what your tolerance zone would look like. Now, what we have is sometimes people want to apply a unilateral tolerance. Now, if you're interested in applying a unilateral tolerance, this is what we did in the past. What they would do is define the basic, identify the datums the same way we did it before, but then we would show a phantom line, two arrows, and show it displaced to the high side. Now that was sometimes a problem here, because when it was displaced to the high side, easy to miss. You know, a fly comes by and takes a dump there someplace, and all of a sudden you can't see that. So what they've done for 2009 is they've done something like this. They take an arrow and point to the surface, and they say profile within 0.6, and then they say U in a circle. And that U in a circle then means it's unequal tolerance. If it's an unequal tolerance, we say, okay, it's unequal, and it's out by 6. Now this is the way I remember it. You see that circle U, it's a U, and then I think of O for out. So it's unilateral out by 6. So that means that this tolerance then would be 100 and it's +6.
And when you say out, you mean out of material.
That's right, out of material. So it's out of the material. You see how it gets out of the material larger. All right, let's take a look at another one here. There's one here. Now, you can imagine what we do with this one. I'm interested to see how this one here is unilateral inside of material. So this here is the way that we do it in 2009. It says profile. You'd list a total tolerance, always the total tolerance in here, and the total tolerance is going to be 0.6. Now if we have a 0.6, then what this is going to be, it's going to be an unequal tolerance. And how much would it be out then?
Well, it'd be out 0 in this case.
Yeah, so it'd be out 0. So that's the way we would say that one right there, you see. Now we can still use the earlier method. You see this? This is still available. You can still use that for your drawings. What's really telling you when you have the new symbol and you have the old one, they're really telling you kind of on the side that this is going to be phased out, probably by the next standard. Can't tell you that for sure, but probably that's where it's going to go. The reason why we use that symbol there is that if you're going to be tolerancing solid models, like we showed you earlier, you know, that it's very difficult to be able to come in and point and try and show a line on the inside. And that symbology, that circle U, really came from the ASME Y1441 standard, and we just dragged it over and used it in the ASME Y14.5 2009 standard. All right, let's take a look at this last one here now. And you see this here is a bilateral unequal, and you notice that what it had before is let's see, it was profiled out within 4, and then the total zone was 6, so it was in by 2. So how that would be handled with a profile to the 2009 standard is we identify the total tolerance again, and total tolerance is 6, and then it's unilateral out and unilateral out within 4. So
you mean unequal out?
I'm sorry, unequal out. And if it's unequal out within 4, well then you know that it would be 2 in.
Just a little bit of a clarification on this unilateral here. Remember what this U in a circle did. It was unilateral out of material. So out of material. So that means, you see I have two features here. This is an external feature, and this is an internal feature. So what it says 0.2 unilateral out 0.2. So what that would read is that would read out of material 0.2. Now when you put it onto a hole, and you say all the way around, I want it unilateral out 0.2, what is it?
No, it's going to be outside of material.
Outside of material, so then it's actually going inside the hole. So be careful, because what that U in a circle there, what that's going to do, that amount is going to make the hole smaller. So what you're going to get then, if you looked at your min and maxes, then you see how the unilateral out will make the pin bigger, and the unilateral out will make the hole smaller. So just be careful, a little bit of a clarification there. It's not unilateral out of the line, it's actually out of the material.
Yeah, that's really important. What you ought to do is take a look at that page 12.7 in the workbook, and there's going to be a lot more information in the workbook. We didn't cover everything, kind of just a new philosophy, the way you look at things and the way you tolerance things, and there's some examples and some exercises that you can work in there also if you just get a little more practice.